Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about issue number 19 of the Avengers, written by Jed MacKay. But before we dive into the story, I want to ask you a favor. If you enjoy this video, please leave a like and a comment to help the channel grow. So with that said, this issue opens in the Impossible City with both Sam and the Black Panther talking about what to do with the Ashen Combine. Because according to the Black Panther, there is an untold number of prisoners within the Tesseract space inside of Meridian Diadem. And because our heroes have already waited too long and ignored what could be happening in there, the Black Panther took it upon himself to volunteer to go in and scout it out. Because out of the Avengers, the one who would be best suited for this task would of course be the Black Panther. So with this mission about to kick off right around the time Storm joins the team, Sam couldn't help but to ask if the timing of this mission has anything to do with Storm's arrival. To which the king decided to own up to it, and states that nothing misses the Falcon's sharp eyes. So when Sam states that he is being ridiculous, the king just replies by saying he never been afraid of death, but he has always been afraid of losing, and losing Storm is the greatest failure of his life. Now with the king about to leave on his mission, we then transition over to Storm talking with Carol. And the nature of their conversation revolved around Storm's former relationship with the king, and how the king is willing to throw himself into danger rather than having an awkward conversation with his ex. Now following that, we see Tony standing before Sam and the king, and as he works on opening the door to Meridian's Tesseract space, we get a dialogue stating that this needs to be done, and the king is the one who needs to do it. And if there's one good thing to have come out of the blood hunt, it's that the king and Sam is back friends again, which is what's best for all parties involved. So with the king gone on his mission, we then see Sam and Stark on the next page regrouping with Carol and Storm. And when they get there, Tony states all they have left to do is wait for the king to send them the signal to be extracted. But as Stark was talking, the city interrupts him to inform them that they have received a priority transmission. The same transmission that they told the city they were expecting, so if it came in, then the city would have to push it through immediately. For this transmission was from Victor Von Doom requesting them to come and talk with him. And on a side note, I love Farid Karami's artwork and attention to detail. But anyway, on the next page, we fast forward to Afghanistan with the team waiting for Doom's arrival. And just as they arrived, an astral projection of the new Sorcerer Supreme appeared overhead, and the first thing it did was welcome them and tell them that Doom's time is too valuable to be wasted. Now this didn't sit well with the Avengers, but given the situation, they just played along and got right to the point, and asked if he wanted them there, so he could justify why he stole the mantle of the Sorcerer Supreme. And to no one's surprise, Doom answered by saying no, because 1, Doom doesn't justify anything, and number 2, he summoned them there so they can justify themselves. For in Doom's new position as Sorcerer Supreme, he has been meditating on the nature of power. And while he did that, he stated that the Avengers represent one of the greatest concentrations of power in this world. So the question Doom wants to be answered is, why have they let the world they have sworn to protect come to this state? Because the world as it is riven by war, harrowed by hate, fractured, broken, and is led by warring flags. And to make it worse, lesser men wield power over their betters, and justice is the common currency of the nations of this world. So again, Doom asked why have they, the most powerful, allowed this to happen? So with that out there, Sam was the first one to speak up and call Doom a hypocrite due to the injustices he committed around the world himself. But in a boss move, Doom just replied by saying, speaking of flags, he has just committed an oversight, for he should have clarified that while he would speak with the Avengers, he has no interest in anything Captain America has to say. Now following that, Captain Marvel stepped up and told Doom to spit out what he wanted with them so they could get back to their busy day. To which Doom responded by saying he summoned them there, to the graveyard of empires, for the answer to one question, which is why have they not taken this world in hand and set things right? And with that said, Doom let out a massive burst of energy on an amazing full-page spread depicting the entire team, so as the wind spun around them, on the next page soldiers from the past started to emerge from the earth. And as the battle kicked off, Doom continued to say, what army could stand against them? What weapons could the nations of the earth bring to bear against their powers, cunning, and skills? For each member of the Avengers is more than a match for any nation. And the 7 of them together are more than a match for the world. So the question Doom asks is what stops the hands of the Avengers from ruling? And then Doom goes on to ask, is it a lack of character which is a cloak of cowardice that they call morality, or is it a fatal lack of imagination that makes them unable to conceive of a better world? So with the questions out there, Doom took it upon himself to show them what the world could be under them. Sam could be a captain, but not of a decrepit union or of a dying imperial power, but of a unified world. And Carol, now truly a marvel, could represent a world brought together ready to take its place on the galactic stage among equals. Tony, the flawed genius, could finally be free of weapons, which would be a big deal, considering both his and the world's addiction to war could be sent to the scrap heap of history. Storm, the goddess, would finally be able to do for her people what all the Avengers and X-Men could not, securing the future for mutants. Vision, the greatest of artificial life forms, freed from the imposition of human morality, would be free to burn the scourge of his ancestry from the face of the world no matter the cost. And Wanda, the hero to the hopeless, could finally live up to her name, finally exercising the power she keeps so in check without fear for damaging the false structures of the world. So with that said, this could be a world that the Avengers could create. This could be a good world for all. In fact, Doom stated that this is not what could be, but rather what should have been, for this is what true ethics would demand of those with true power. Now with Doom's speech going on and on, Storm then stepped up and used her power over the elements to put an end to this display. And once the magic was cleared, Storm went on to say, Doom asked a question in such a way that the only answer possible is the one he wants, but the answers they have are not the ones he would like. So with that out there, Tony followed up and stated that he knows war, for he built war and was raised on war, and if the Avengers tried to take control of the world, it would be a war. And then, in said war, they would have to kill hundreds of thousands just in the opening moves. And from his perspective, a finer world can't be created like that. So in the end, Doom may be right, that they have the power to take the world, but they do not have the right to control it, for they are not the ultimate authority, and they could not be. Now this right here is something Doom could never understand, for they use their power to protect the world from what would end it. But despite that, they still cannot fix it, because the world is not a machine, and they are protectors, not tyrants. Which means they cannot impose their will on billions simply because they are powerful, and besides, no one person can rule the world without making it worse. So in closing, the Avengers states that they will always be there to save the world, but not by taking away its ability to save itself. Now with that explained, Doom projection landed to the ground and stated that he stood incorrect, because he thought it was a lack of imagination. But now he sees the reason why they don't take over is because they are cowards. Because from Doom's standpoint, they all have great power, and yet they are afraid of it. So with that out there, the Avengers were left standing in the open desert as Doom exited the chat. Now following that, we fast forward to the team eating pizza back in the Impossible City, while talking about the possibility of them changing his mind. And during this conversation, Vision states, the purpose of Doom's little demonstration was not to change their minds or his. For it was a thought exercise, where they were props playing as his devil advocates. So their only purpose was to aid him in troubleshooting his own thinking, and allow him to reinforce his own ideas. Because he believes that he must do what they will not, and now he has the power to see it through. So with that said, this issue comes to an end. But anyway, if you want to stay in the loop about any individual storyline, then how about you hop over to the playlist section down below or in the link cards above to get all caught up on the Avengers runs. So with that established, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to leave a like and a comment if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.